Back at it again, Rick Serritella here on location, and we mentioned Jaws trots out all the legends, three-time Super Bowl champion Jeff Bostic, and he just rubbed it in Jaws' face a little bit, that shiny jewelry he brought here with us. You still have it? There it is.
I'm going to give this one to him. I've got a couple others.
You're going to donate to charity with one. We'll talk about that because nearly $100,000 raised last year at the auction, some more stuff being auctioned off here today, and a lot of underprivileged kids in the community getting to receive equipment and opportunities and things of that nature because of that event. What's it mean to give back and be a part of the whole thing?
Well, just to be a part of the whole process. I mean, Jaworski and I go back a long time, so I'm just supporting him. But more importantly, the things that he believes in, he's bettering this community, he's bettering this area, he's bettering kids' lives. He's giving kids hope, he's giving kids a chance. And that's what we should be doing. That's what we should try to do for those that are less fortunate.
Absolutely, and let's talk a little bit about those Hogs teams, three-time Super Bowl champs, of course, the legendary Joe Gibbs. There's so many stories I'm sure we could share, and of course the Eagles rivalry and the Giants rivalry, but man, the guys that you had to go up against, whether it was Reggie White and Lawrence Taylor and some of those guys, looking back at it, I mean, some ultimate grudge matches. But who were one or two guys that you really licked your chops going up against back in the day?
I don't know that anybody licked their chops about playing anybody. All the guys in the NFL can play. But some of the guys you mentioned, the Reggie Whites and the Lawrence Taylors and, those type of guys, the Howie Longs, the Bruce Smiths, I mean, they were great players during that era. And I think the thing that really gets lost is that a lot of fans don't realize how dominant the NFC East was during that span of football. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously, 1980, the Eagles go to the Super Bowl and lose. 82, we win. 83, we lost the Super Bowl to the Raiders. 86, the Giants win. 87, we win the Super Bowl. 90, the Giants win. 91, we win. 92 and 3, the Cowboys win. Yeah. That's NFC dominance, and that's the Eastern Division.
Yeah, and all Hall of Fame coaches. I mean, Bill Parcells, Joe Gibbs, Jimmy Johnson. I don't know if they put him in there yet, but what about a Joe Gibbs story? Can you share one with us? I'm sure you have so many memories, but give us a nugget if you can.
Well, Joe was everybody said, was Joe Gibbs a great motivator? No, Joe was a librarian. He wanted everything in order. He wanted everything in sync, and he wanted you to be ultra prepared. He wasn't a motivational guy, but he recruited and drafted motivated guys. And he kind of let the veteran players run the locker room, which is important. But Joe Gibbs, he used to tell the same stories every year. So for 12 years, I heard stories just over and over. I would tell you one, but they're all so boring that they put you to sleep.
But, he seemed to always find these guys that were just stashed on the roster, and whether it was Mark Rippon or Doug Williams or Ricky Smith came out of nowhere that one year with Timmy Smith, and just set Super Bowl rushing record on the Broncos that one year, which was incredible. It just seems like he had a knack for finding those guys and keeping everybody ready, whether it was...
Here's your Joe Gibbs story.
Okay.
We're in Super Bowl 22. Doug Williams is our quarterback. He and Joe Gibbs are the only two people that know Timmy Smith is going to start the Super Bowl. He had never started a game in his NFL career. His first start's going to be in a Super Bowl? What? So we get the ball for the first time, and I look in the huddle, and I'm thinking, what is Timmy Smith doing in here? George Rogers had been our running back all year long. Now, Timmy was getting 10 or 12 carries a game, but Joe had an unbelievable gut feeling for how things were going to work out. And he just told Doug, he said, I just got a feeling Timmy's going to give us a little bit more speed and a little bit more production.
That's
and
unbelievable.
204 yards later, Timmy Smith was done. But I think our offensive line was so dominant during that era.
I think he could have put me back there.
It didn't matter who our quarterback was. It didn't matter who our running back was. Just drive the car.
Yeah, unbelievable. So what were you thinking, though? Did you see that flash during the season from Timmy Smith, or when did you realize during that game that something magical was happening?
Well, he averaged about 9 yards a carry. So I knew something magical was happening as soon as we figured out what the Denver Broncos defense. They didn't run their defense, they'd run all year long. And it took us about half of a quarter to get a hold on it. And Joe Gibbs never came over to our offensive line during the course of a game and asked what they were doing. But that game he did. And Joe is a master tactician, and he starts thinking for a minute, and then he draws up. He said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to run 40, 50 gut, 60, 70 outside. We're going to big zone. It's telling me and the guards we're going to double team the 3 technique, catch the nose up in traffic if we can. He says, then we're going to come back and run the counter. He said, but the first play we're going to run is a Charlie 10 hitch. It's just a quick 3-step drop, get the ball out. And he told the wide receivers, if you're pressed, run a fade. Well, I look out to the right side of the field, and I saw Ricky Sanders pressed. I said, this is a fade. And Doug hit him for an 80-yard bomb, which got us our first score. In 19 plays, we scored 35 points and took 5 minutes and 41 seconds of time off the clock. And the second quarter of the Super Bowl, we gained 356 yards.
Yeah, it was the fastest ending to a Super Bowl that I ever seen, and talk about Gary Clark and Art Monk and all those playmakers. And that's surprising that Denver switched up their defense, because they had such a, they were known for the defense, the Orange Crush, and I think they had Rulon Jones or Simon Fletcher, Carl Mecklenburg,
Ricky. Was it Ricky Jack? No, it was
Tom Jackson.
Tom Jackson.
During one of them. I don't know if he was in the one that you guys played.
I think they realized that they were a little bit undersized up front. I mean, Rulon Jones was like 6'5", 270. Jacoby was about 6'8", 340. We were big. I mean, Mark May was 315, 320. Grimm was 300. I was 40 pounds heavier than I am right now, so I was about 280. And Raleigh McKenzie was about 300. So I think they realized they couldn't sit in there. So Joe Collier, their defensive coordinator, came up with a different scheme, and they never got out of it. And, the one thing I will say about Joe Gibbs, when he got a team down, he knew how to win. He wasn't going to rub their face in it.
Well, let me ask you about the Hogs, because that's arguably the greatest offensive line in NFL history. Do you feel that way? I mean, you could state a case. Some people believe it's the Cowboys. Some people like the Electric Company, turn on the electric. But the Hogs, I mean, they're just known throughout the course of time. Have you ever gave it any thought or reflection?
Well, you look at the Dallas Cowboys, they had one quarterback, Troy Aikman, one running back, Emmitt Smith, and one key receiver, Michael Irvin. We had Joe Theismann, we had Jay Schrader, we had Doug Williams, we had Mark Rippon, we had Stan Humphries. I said we had running backs forever. I mean, John Riggins was the first 2. Timmy Smith started the 3rd one. The 4th one, it was Ernest Biner. So what was the common? And in 1991, we played 16 regular season games and 3 postseason games, win the Super Bowl. We give up 9 sacks in 19 games.
Unbelievable. I mean, that's unheard of these days. So, last one for you. I mean, what are you up to these days? What do you got going on this summer? Anything that we can keep up to date with you now?
We're just doing charity events right now. I mean, I do a lot of this. I probably play in 30 or 40 charity events a year, and it's always good to come to a new one and see what they're doing and what their charity is supporting. And certainly this one is near and dear to my heart. I got 3 kids of my own, and certainly helping kids is what we should be all about.
No doubt about it. Is this your first time at the Joy Celebrity?
First time here. Oh. I hope he'll invite me back. I'm going to give him one of these rings for a year now.
We appreciate the time. Jeff Bostic, the Hogs, baby. NFL Draft Bible. Keep it locked, everybody.